Hi, today's movie is Wolfblood, A Tale of the Forest, a 1925 silent movie that's purported to be the oldest surviving werewolf movie. Now, I'm super curious about this one. I really don't know what to expect. I have heard some people say, reading about this, that it's not really a werewolf movie. I don't know. Let's have a look and find out. I love the title. Wolfblood is brilliant. Now, is that a model or is that a real location shot? So they're setting up two rival lumber companies, one suggested to be unscrupulous and willing to do anything to drive the other one out. So this looks like real location shooting. So I'm guessing this is the baddie, the unscrupulous head of the bad lumber company. Okay. Interesting take on industrial espionage in 1925. Half-breed. That's not, that wouldn't be acceptable today. So this is their security guy who's asleep and has allowed his gun to be taken away from him. Why do they keep saying half-breed? What's the guy's mixed heritage got to do with anything? I guess they're saying that that makes him a disreputable character at this point. That's pretty racist. How many people has this rival logging company shot? How about the police? Might want to phone the police and tell them someone's shooting all your employees. And let's not forget, back then, you might just die of infection. So shooting someone in the arm or leg wasn't necessarily a trivial matter. Oh, fantastic. This is what we want to see from the 1920s. Flappers, Charleston, jazz. Oh, so the owner of the good logging company is a lady. I think that's going to bring some complications. You know what happens when ladies get involved in business. So she's engaged to some rich doctor, but I suspect she's going to meet a rugged woodsman and her heart will be torn in two different directions. Yeah, okay. We get that they're at a party. We get that they're high society types. I want some werewolf action. Uh-oh. A punch biker. Would this have been in the Prohibition era or close to it? Don't think it's going to happen. I think they're setting these two up as a mismatch. I feel like they are spending too much time on this dance party. It is making the film feel a little bit slow at this point. Oh, she's got to bring a surgeon, so she'll bring her fiancé. On with the wolf. Wow, that's a cool shot. I'm impressed with all the location shooting in this movie. Oh, hello. Ugh. I did find this whole thing of the mixed heritage guy pretty racist. He's an alcoholic as well, by the look of it. He's going to go to the rival camp now. Oh, I thought he was going to attack someone with that sledgehammer or axe. Maybe he still is. No one's hearing that? They're standing about 3 feet away from him. Ooh. Wow, getting him to stand up and walk around after a tree's fallen on him. That doesn't seem like a great idea. Very interesting the way they're portraying alcohol in this movie. It's alright for the rich people to get drunk and party, but the working people, it makes them dangerous alcoholics. Wow, what a beautiful shot. So clearly there's a romance between the logging guy and the lady who owns the company. Doctor won't like that. But we're about halfway in now and I've seen no wolf, no wolf's blood, nothing like that. So I think they do need to move it along a bit. Can't call the movie Wolfblood and have no wolves and no blood. Really very nicely filmed in parts, this movie. Two against one. That's not fair. Uh-oh. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, here we go. Wolves. Ooh. They might try and eat him. Oh, it's the guy they kicked out of the camp. Ooh. So this evil guy is proposing a blood transfusion from a wolf. And the doctor's going to go with that? He could have used his own blood. I don't know if that is a fact that you can transfuse animal blood into humans. I think in 1925 they would have known you can't do that. So the wolf was the only chance to save the guy, but the doctor could have donated his own blood. And they're not going to tell anyone. This is a little bit silly. Would have been better if they'd had the wolves attack Bannister and then the werewolf thing come out of the attack. Interesting. This film has a kind of weird interest in half wolf, people who are half wolf, half human, people who have got a mixed racial heritage. And it's presenting them as dangerous, like the mixed race guy they kicked out of the camp who insisted on the wolf blood transfusion. It does seem like there's a little bit of a racist ideology behind this story. That if your blood isn't pure, whatever that means, you're dangerous. Jacques the half-breed is telling a wild story that you're half wolf. But horror is about taboos, and I guess this was a big taboo of the time. And the idea of having tainted blood that's tainted in some way, is still a taboo horror idea. Being infected with something, losing your humanity. Everyone believes the wolf transfusion story means that he's less human than he was before. The film's emphasis on the idea that only people with pure blood are people you can trust does seem very much of its time. And it's hard not to see it as some kind of allegory about racial purity. Especially with this mixed race character at the center of it as the baddie. So the horror in this film seems like it's not about the suggestion that wolf's blood will make him turn into a wolf. It's the horror of him having tainted blood and people perceive him as being racially tainted or impure. That's a weird kind of horror, and I don't think it's one that people would connect with today. No one seems worried that he's actually going to turn into a wolf and kill people, but they are worried that his blood is no longer pure human blood. It's weird. And the idea that the nature of the animal whose blood was used is going to infect him. But they haven't really done anything with that idea. So there seems to be an idea underlying all of this, that blood somehow contains an essence of what you are. Blood means something. And that some blood is better than others, in whatever terms of purity these people are thinking of. Which does kind of make me think about eugenics, which was around at this time. So I guess she's declaring to the fiancé that she doesn't love him anymore and she wants Bannister. Oh, he's telling her about the blood transfusion from the wolf. Because he thinks that's a bad thing too, and that she will be put off by it. Wow. Did people really believe this? Blood will change his character, his whole personality. I don't know when blood transfusions became a common thing, but it seemed like they're trying to play on some fear that was perhaps more widespread about blood transfusions and what they meant back then. For this film to have worked back then, people would have to have had those fears. Otherwise, you'd just think it was silly. Like watching it now, it does seem kind of silly. Oh, see, he's being violent. It must be true. We're supposed to share this horror. You've made me a thing that is neither man nor beast. I think the film expects us to share this feeling of horror that he feels of having some animal blood in his body. But I don't think most people today would feel that. They view him as some kind of half-human, half-wolf now. Just because of a little bit of blood. It's hard not to see a kind of eugenics idea underlying the horror they feel about the blood transfusion, and that this makes him somehow less than he was before. How are they going to resolve this? Here we go. Werewolf lore. The wolf in human form. They're talking about a werewolf as a wolf in human form. Not half wolf, half man. But a man with the characteristics of a wolf. Oh, she's scared of him now. And look at how stubbly he is. That's a reflection of his animalistic nature now. Oh, he's a beast. He is a beast indeed. How are they going to resolve it? I think they're going to have to kill him or have him lose some blood, get another transfusion from another human to restore his humanity. But do people at this time think that if you are tainted, if your blood is tainted, that you can be saved? Oh, the bad boss of the bad mining company has been murdered in a wolf-like fashion. And everyone assumes it's Bannister. Oh, look how stubbly he's getting. Ooh, that's a great still photo. Ooh, look at that. Ghostly wolves. I like that. So is he really remembering that he did this, or is it all in his mind? So he fully believes that he is some kind of wolf in a human form now. See, they're finally getting to the interesting werewolf-like material in the last 5 minutes of the movie. Of course, when he goes to join the wolves, they might just eat him. Oh, a phantom pack of wolves. That's a very cool effect. I like that. So they're like ghost wolves or phantoms of his imagination. I can't guess how they're going to end it. But I love this thing of him chasing the phantom wolves. Oh, is he going to go over a cliff? Will they realise that they were all just being ridiculous the whole time? Oh, so so they've just forgotten the whole thing about the wolf blood transplant and how completely hysterical they all went about it. Wolfblood was a bit of a weird picture. It wasn't really a werewolf film at all as we would expect it today. It does touch on ideas around werewolves and it does explore them in a different way than what we're used to. But I think the film's problem is it spends so long in the initial setup of the logging camps and the rivalry and the love triangle. It doesn't really get into the most interesting subject matter, the wolf thing, until the last third or quarter. And this does feel like a really wasted opportunity because I think they could have done a lot more with this whole werewolf idea. It feels like it's a tacked on thing at the end of the film rather than what the film is all about, which the title Wolfblood would suggest. So I think what it really is a romantic triangle drama with a complicating factor to do with a wolf blood transfusion. Having said that, I guess looking at the history of werewolf movies, its ideas about werewolfism, lycanthropy, are interesting and different. The film takes the idea that you can be a werewolf without looking like a wolf, without transforming into a wolf. You can be a wolf in human form, which I don't recall really seeing in other werewolf movies. However, the film does have a few problems around its ideas about race and the purity of your blood as a human, which do have a bit of a eugenics feel today and are a little bit troubling on that front. The kind of racism that seems to be underlying this film is most evident in the character, I think his name was Lebeq, I didn't really catch it, but he's the character who's constantly referred to in the intertitles as a half-breed. Now, the fact that they emphasize this mixed racial quality of a guy who's positioned as an alcoholic, sadistic villain in the film is troubling. And I think it does show some broader problematic attitudes towards race and around ideas about racial purity, whatever that means, that do seem to underlie the kind of horror that the film is trying to evoke. And I think they really are trying to evoke a sense of horror in the viewer at the idea of your blood being tainted by something that's lesser than what you are, whether that's, an interracial type scenario or something with an animal. But it does really seem like there's a strong context around a shared understanding of the purity of your blood and what that means that I don't think viewers would understand today, and I don't think it carries any of the horror today that it seems intended to have had back then. I think overall I'd have to describe Wolfblood as more of a curiosity than a satisfying film in terms of either its drama or its horror content, because it doesn't really have any horror content that I could see. Is it worth watching? I don't know. I guess if you're a completist and you want to see some early film that's sort of on a werewolf topic, it's worth a look, but it is a bit slow, it is a bit unsatisfying, and it did feel a bit long, even though it's only about an hour long. If you've enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye.